All right, let's talk about something every hiker, every trail manager, pretty much anyone who loves the outdoors has dealt with. Trail information that's just a mess. It's outdated, it's confusing, and honestly, it can be super frustrating. Today, we're going to look at how to turn that chaos into a genuinely useful, powerful resource for everyone.
Come on, you know you have. We've all been there, right? Squinting at some pixelated map on your phone, wondering if that path even exists anymore, or trying to follow a description written a decade ago. It's a classic problem, and it's a symptom of something much bigger.
But here's the good news. We can absolutely fix it. There's a clear way forward. In this explainer, we're going to lay out a step-by-step maturity model. Think of it as a ladder that takes trail data from a bunch of scattered files to a smart, connected system that actually works for people.
So here's our game plan. We'll quickly touch on the problem, and then we're going to climb that ladder. Step 1 is just getting the data online. Step 2 is standardizing it, so everyone's speaking the same language. And step 3 is where it gets really cool, making the data smart. Then we'll see what it all adds up to, the ultimate hiker experience.
Okay, first things first. Before we can do anything fancy, we have to tackle the most basic step. We need to get out of this world of random PDFs, different info on different apps, and knowledge that's just stuck in a few people's heads. It's all about creating one central digital home for the data.
So the big idea on this first rung of the ladder is creating a single source of truth. This is how we stop that maddening situation where different websites give you conflicting information on the same exact trail. It means you've got to hunt down all those old files, get every trail onto one website, and make sure each one has a name and, actual geographic coordinates. And just as important, you have to say who's in charge. That accountability is absolutely key.
Okay, so your data is online. That's a huge win. But just having it online isn't quite enough. For it to be truly useful, it needs to speak a common language. So now we're climbing to the next level. This is the standardization phase, where we make our data consistent, machine-readable, and ready to play nicely with other systems.
Now, two things here are absolute game changers. First, making data open in formats like GeoJSON means anybody can grab it and build useful tools with it. Second, giving every single trail a unique persistent identifier, a PID, is brilliant. Just think of it like a social security number for each trail. It means that when someone reports a fallen trail, we know exactly which trail they're talking about. No confusion, no ambiguity.
And when we talk standards, let's get specific. One of the most critical things to standardize is difficulty. A fantastic model for this is the Swiss Alpine Club, or SAC scale. It rates trails all the way from T1, which is basically a walking path, up to T6, which is serious, expert-level alpine terrain. And this is all about the technical skill required.
But here's where things often go wrong. Technical difficulty has absolutely nothing to do with visibility. Trail visibility is just how easy is the path to see. You could be on a perfectly flat T1 trail that's super easy to walk, but if it's completely overgrown and unmarked, it has terrible visibility.
And this chart just nails the point. A trail isn't just hard or easy. You can have a simple walk that's a nightmare to follow. You could have a demanding alpine route that's so well marked you can see it from a mile away. The takeaway here is critical. You have to document these two things separately if you want to give hikers a real picture of what they're getting into.
And if you want to see a really robust example of this kind of standardization in action, you should check out the Interagency Trail Data Standards, or ITDS. It's used by federal agencies in the US, and they've created this whole shared language to classify everything about a trail. It's a great model to learn from.
All right, now we're getting to the top of the ladder. This is the really exciting part. This is where our data stops being just a static file on a website and starts becoming part of a living, breathing, interconnected digital world. This is where we make data smart.
This quote from the team that built the Stockholm Archipelago Trail really says it all. So what's a knowledge graph? Well, think of it this way. It turns your data from a flat spreadsheet into a web of connections. A trail suddenly knows about the ferry schedule you need to get to its trailhead. A campsite knows if it has drinking water. Everything is linked.
And the Stockholm project shows just how powerful this is. I mean, this is amazing stuff. We're talking about a system where a trail is linked to the real-time schedule of the ferry you need to catch, where a cool landmark on the trail links you straight to its Wikipedia article, and all of this info is automatically available in more than 15 languages. That's the power of smart linked data.
So, how do you actually do this? Well, it starts with something called same as links,
where you officially tell the web that your trail is the same thing as a specific object in Wikidata or a route on OpenStreetMap. Once you do that, you can build on it, add multilingual info, create a real-time API for trail closures, and, crucially, publish detailed accessibility data.
And let's be really clear about accessibility. It's not just some vague checkbox. Smart data can tell a user if a trail has a firm and stable surface. And that has a very precise meaning. The ground won't shift or get mushy under a wheelchair. For someone with mobility challenges, that is incredibly valuable, potentially life-changing information.
You know, smart data is also honest data. It can clearly identify limiting factors, things like a field of boulders or a super steep rocky slope that you just can't change. It's not about saying the trail is a failure. It's about providing clear, accurate information so people can make informed decisions and stay safe.
So, we've climbed this whole ladder from total chaos to smart, linked data. But why? What's the big payoff for all this effort? Well, it all comes down to one thing: creating a fundamentally better, safer, and richer experience for the actual person on the trail. Okay, let's put ourselves in a hiker's boots for a second. With this kind of rich, connected data, what can we do now that was basically impossible before?
Imagine this. You're out there, and your app can tell you pretty much anything. Need water? Boom, it finds the nearest Dricksvatn. A storm's coming in? It can point you to the closest Vindshoot, or shelter. It can even tell you where to find a defibrillator, a ferry stop, or the edge of a nature reserve, all connected to your exact spot.
And that's really what it all boils down to. All this work, structuring and connecting data, serves one simple but incredibly powerful goal: getting the right info to the right person at the exact moment they need it in a language they actually understand.
So, that's the journey in a nutshell. The 3 big stages to creating truly brilliant trail data. First, you get out of the chaos by putting everything in one place online. Second, you standardize it so it's consistent and useful. And finally, you make it smart by connecting it to the bigger world of linked data.
So whether you're managing one little local trail or a huge national park system, the ideas are the same. The question to ask yourself is, where are you on this ladder? And what's the next step you can take? Because every single step you climb makes the outdoors a little more accessible, a little more understandable, and a whole lot more enjoyable for absolutely everyone.